Hello. Wait here for a few minutes. Hopefully everyone can hear me. Coming on here. This rain is beautiful. I think this is a good spot to sit outside with this rain and a little forest back here. So, everyone joining me, can you hear me okay with the rain? Wait for a response. Just put do a thumbs up or something if you can hear. If you can hear me okay, just put a little thumbs. Thanks, Grace. Alright, so you can hear. Awesome. So today, I am really excited to all that thunder. I'm excited to talk to you about something I'm presenting to the group, called a manifesto. So it's going to be the Conscious Hearts Manifesto of something that's going to be our conscious intention to intentionally live by every day, and to use these words and to expand our vibration and bring that happiness and bring that love to us. So I'm going to read you the manifesto, and then I'll be posting it here to the group. And what today's discussion is about is how all of our so-called faults, or maybe things that connect to our shadow self, things that we don't like about ourselves, are actually our greatest assets. And that's what I'm going to go into today, just to talk about briefly, and also a video I posted as well this week in the group. But first we're going to start with the manifesto. So I have on here: free from trauma, fear, being a victim, blame, shame, guilt, and worry. And that all connects to this deeper level of self-love. So we have this surface level self-love, and then really digging deeper, breaking down those thick barrier walls that we put on, or the mask that we carry that to hide that shadow self. The asset that greatest asset we can dig up and find from the shadow. So listening to our inner voice and being honest with ourselves. So with this manifesto, this is the tool to guide you throughout your day, throughout your week, things that you can say to yourself. They're kind of like an affirmation, but an intention to live fully every day and feel. So the first one is: I am impeccable with my word. How I speak to myself and others is powerful. So how we speak to ourselves, the language we use for ourselves, is so powerful that it can completely shape how we feel about ourselves, how we feel about others, what we project onto others. And that's like a manifestation, how we use our words, even just connecting to, Jesus. He was your word, it's the word, that's impeccable, being impeccable with your words. So each week I'm going to break down this manifesto of, digging deeper. I work to grow every day and seek expansion daily. So, you look at that and you read it and you're like, okay, so today, what can I do to expand growth and loving myself, or, digging deeper my self-identity, and looking at things in a different way. I walk every day with ease and grace. I choose to release, let go, and let God. My story, my trauma doesn't define who I am. I don't take anything personally. What others do is a projection of their reality. So that's a really, really big one. And some of these are inspired by a lot of, studies I've done, a lot of books I've read, and a lot of spiritual growth that I've experience that these things I try and, I live by every day, and try to be conscious of and am conscious of. I am worthy of love and joy. And, that is one, solid stone. I am worthy of love and joy, and feeling it and believing it. I am committed to take what I need to nourish my soul. Self-care is most important. When anxiety visits me, I breathe it out. I strive to live for my true self. I'm committed to being conscious to my thoughts. So that commitment of being conscious of your thoughts, when your thoughts are crippling in with your shadow self, and you get these feelings of not feeling worthy, not feeling love, feeling rejection, not feeling accepted by others, really is a projection of not feeling like you accept yourself. And that's where that shadow comes in. That's where we start digging deeper into. So these are, there's one more here in the manifesto for Conscious Hearts. When I face challenges in my life, I say thank you. I see growth and opportunity in the situation. And that's a really big one for me, and what has really helped and guided me through this. Whenever I felt like maybe I'm in this group of people and I feel alone. I'm in this room full of these people who are my so-called friends. I feel alone, and I feel like there's a challenge here. There's something that potentially I have this false illusion fabricated into my mind, and I'm trying to project to be myself, but I'm I feel this block, and I feel something that's not natural. And so what happens, I take that situation and I'm trying to see it in a different perspective and grow from that situation and say thank you, and maybe seek out different friends or different situations, and put myself in different a different area, different scene, to kind of learn from those different experiences. Sorry, I'm trying to gather my thoughts here. So that was just a little go on to the thank you for my experiences. So that's the manifesto, and we'll be breaking that down each week. But so what we are going to do is talk about the shadow, of how it can work for us rather against us. Our shadow self often will see we'll feel heavy from it, and just feel like we're not worthy, and these deep dark things that we just kind of put onto the rug created this wall barrier, and repressing these feelings, and when we believe these messages that we put in our head from these experiences, and our ego wants to protect us. And so when our ego wants to protect us, we create this wall, these walls so thick that we end up no longer knowing who we truly are and who we are. And it's so funny, because I was thinking of 6 years ago, and I'm like, man, that seems like a lifetime away. I'm like, holy shit, that I feel like it's a whole nother person. I'm a whole nother person. And and working through this shadow work, and working through remembering, life's not all serious. We can have fun and be silly and just kind of, but these things with our unconscious, and these experiences, these traumas, we can live in our life with the feeling of blame and being a victim. And so I posted this video it was last week or this week on Marcy Locke. She was talking about blame versus Melissa, yes, you do. And I'm sure you see a lot of growth, Melissa, or difference. But yeah, so Marcy talked about blame versus freedom, and how blame is this just a little wrap up what she talked about. Blame is this reflection of codependency, on how we are not happy with ourselves, and it creates this low vibration. So whenever we are blaming, we're putting out this low vibrational energy, and what we're putting out, we receive back. And then maybe something bad happens, or we're we feel like we need to blame more, and so it's kind of this push and pull. We end up being programmed to these ideas. So when we, with our shadow self, how our shadow can like form at, you know, when we're younger is, you know, we're growing up, you know, in this dream state, and we're growing up in this, you know, being told, like, don't do this, don't do this. You're not good at spelling, you're not good at reading, you're saying these words wrong, and so, and then, or like you end up like feeling like if you don't do something the right way, you're going to be judged by others, and then you end up judging yourself. So all of those little things of these don'ts end up being a program of potentially creating this shadow self of ourselves and things that we don't like about ourselves. But really, those things that we don't like about ourselves can teach us the most if we allow us to take away the barrier. Sometimes I feel that even myself, and that when we kind of like put that wall up as like the shadow, and like we're protecting ourselves, we have this like mask that we're carrying that's so easy, but it's basically a superficial type of way of living that's giving a false illusion of ourselves. We carry this mask, and we're like almost like this tunneled vision, and we're just seeing life this way, and there's all these opportunities around us, and it's like, holy shit, oh my God, if I just open my eyes and let go of that fear, see that shadow in myself as an asset for me to grow and be like this wonderful, amazing fucking human being, I was like, oh my God, you know, and you're like, wow, there's so much opportunity, so much growth, and you know, and not taking yourself so seriously. Now, there's your story is your story, but it doesn't define you. We all have stories, but our story can also be a way of, you know, with the manifesto, I was saying, it can shape and be like, it can create those programs of your shadow, your story, the things that we've happened to us, the trauma that's happened to us. And so when we go into what we were talking about, the blame, we shift this dependence and codependency into interdependency, and that's what Marcy was saying. Interdependency as one whole with the universe, and surrendering. And so trusting is like hard. It's like harder. It's easier said than done, obviously. So trusting, surrendering to the flow, trusting the process that, you know, the universe is going to take care of you, and the God's going to take care of you as long as we take that vibration of our like loving ourselves, and we just like we keep it going up. If it's going to go down, then that like things are going to be off for us, you know. So creating this radical acceptance. And so when we notice these times of being uncomfortable, that is the greatest source for us to know and be honest with ourselves. Of feeling uncomfortable creates that growth, and being like, okay, so what is feeling uncomfortable in me, and what, you know, where is this coming from? Instead of blaming others, it's like, where is this coming from in here, and how can I recognize, like, you know, the triggers of it and turn them into no longer being triggers. So what you want to do is create this radical acceptance, and so that shifting this, you know, this blame into a deeper level of self-love and self-reflection. And so it's going to empower you from like alchemizing and raising your vibration, and, you know, what you're going to free yourself from blame, being the victim, force, drama, control, addiction, confusion, and all of those are shadows. You know, blaming and being ignorant, cold, selfishness, feeling like purposelessness, judgment, and all of those characteristics are shadow self types. So what I want to do here is, there's a lot of like type of session plans that I have through creative processes and expressions, that I want to do a Zoom group with you guys, and, you know, I accept the love donations, but doing a deeper level, and we can really dig into the shadow self. This is all very like me talking about the surface level of it all, but like how can we truly dig into it, recognize it? Because it's hard, because what happens is you're gonna be like tearing down these walls, these things are gonna come up for you, and then we feel that natural defense and we want to block it again because we don't want to face what we're really feeling, and it can be hard. But really what's beautiful is overcoming that, and and taking control. And then because what happens sometimes is you'll be sitting here in silence, okay, you're like trying to meditate. And actually, I'll tell you this story. I was reading this book, and this therapist, this was like, she was a drug addict. She was on the bathroom floor puking, and she was like, woke up, and like looked at herself in the mirror, and she's like, I'm gonna kill myself, I need to get out of this. So she went to rehab, did all this Buddhist retreats, she did all these things, and she wrote this amazing book that I'm currently reading, The Dark Side of Light Chasers, which it has to do with shadow work, and that's one thing that I've been doing a lot. So anyway, so she took herself to rehab, and she did all these stuff, and she said, to this day, she still sometimes will sit there, and those thoughts of feeling unworthy, and those thoughts of feeling like shit, and she doesn't know why those things still come up. But she's done all this work for herself, and she's so successful, and she's, she does live in this freedom, but still sometimes those like things will come up, and she's like, why? So then she went to this convention, and this lady who's doing this talk, she turns around and she looks at this girl and she goes, you're a bitch. And she's like, what? And she's like, I am a bitch, and after she was talking more about how this girl, she was a bitch, she was like, actually, you being a bitch can be your greatest asset. So if you feel like you're a bitch, and that's like your shadow, that can be your greatest asset. Because if someone's doing construction in your house and you're like, they're doing something wrong, that trait in you can be a good quality for you to stick up for yourself and be a little bitch and tell them that they're not doing it right. And that's a great quality. And she was like, whoa. So the whole time, my whole life, I thought I was a bitch, and I thought it was a terrible quality. I hated that about myself, and I didn't like it. And then now this like huge weight was lifted off to her, because she changed the program of her mind, thinking that being a bitch can be good sometimes. Now, obviously, she's gonna she's not gonna take advantage of that. She'll put it in the best way possible, living in the best way, but seeing that in a different way, letting that go, and embracing the shadow and discovering your gift. And that's how you truly can bring and create this change of love and joy in your life, embracing your shadow, digging deep and seeing that beauty. And it's like taking your power back over the parts of yourself that potentially you've given others. And there's parts of us that we might have given others, and it's like taking it back, taking control and finding that. And like I said in the beginning here, talking, I was saying that it's like, creating those walls that were so thick for years and years and years, and we end up no longer remembering who we truly are. And that can be a really whoa. And that can be a shadow itself too, being wow, I can't believe I allowed myself to do that for so long, and it's holy crap, and then you feel guilty, but really you don't have to you can give yourself some love and compassion and be okay, but I'm realizing this now, and I'm starting to grow from this now, and be and take that illusion of overthinking it and rooting it to how to release that shadow, how to love that shadow of your being. So embracing the shadow, you'll no longer live in fear. Allowing yourself to use it rather than letting it use you. And that's the biggest thing of that story of her being a bitch. She let that word, being a bitch, use her, but now she's using it as a good quality, and taking it to a different way. So let me see if I will. Okay. So I wanted to do this a little bit shorter today. 30 minutes. That's what I've been kind of putting on here. But so with the shadow self, I hope that was clear. If you guys have any questions, I'd love to talk to you guys about more about this. This is like a form of self-love, and I could talk about self-love forever. That's like a big thing. But I wanted to show you this Carl Jung statement. He said, "One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious." And I think that's like a real key thing in what we're talking about, is the darkness is beauty. And if we are scared of it, then we're going to live in fear of it. And we're going to continue to live in fear of it if we are scared of the darkness. But there can be beauty in that darkness, and we can find and switch around our thoughts. So, if you're feeling like you're not worthy and you're not loved, switching it around into a positive quality of yourself. And that's what we're going to be doing in the Zoom, is we're going to do these exercises. And me just doing the exercises, I'm like, whoa, I feel so much better, and every time I do these exercises, I'm like figuring out more about myself, more about ways that I want to share with you guys. And that's like my biggest passion, is like bringing this and sharing this stuff that I've been learning, and to help all of us grow into this new world that's creating. And who knows, and there's a lot of uncertainty, and I've been feeling a little fear as well, because I don't know what's going to happen in a few months from now, or if I'm going to ever go to a festival again. But I'm trying to not dwell on that, and to focus on myself and my art, and and the love that connecting with you guys. And right now what we can do is really focus on ourselves and grow, make ourselves grow, and be so strong, because whatever the world's going to have to bring us, we can just be like, yeah, well, I got power, I've got it, I'm in control, So I am going to be doing a Zoom session next week. I'm going to post in the group, and I'll post it in the link here, and that will be, I'll accept love donations, support, giving you guys an hour full session on in-depth shadow work, and that can bring to make us feel lighter, and some breath work. I think breath work has been a really powerful thing lately for me, because often when this shadow fear comes, and these unconscious thoughts that maybe we're not recognizing at the time, it really leaves us breathless, and we feel like this stuck energy, and you can feel it in your stomach, you can feel it in your chest, and it really needs to be released. And so releasing that stuck energy, we're going to do a process with that in the Zoom, working on a specific exercise for the shadow self, and talk more in depth about this. So I appreciate all you guys joining today, and I hope you guys could hear the nice little rain in the background of the woods, and I hope I can see you next time. And ask any questions, just put in the comments and I'll answer. Thank you guys. Much love. Have a good day.